All right, welcome in. It's truly the podcast version of the Daily Puck Drop. Not sure why we couldn't go live today. We've run into some issues. We apologize. So you're listening to this later. Normally you'd be listening at 10 o'clock. Jim, I want to thank you for your patience. I guess it's old school because we're doing the Daily Puck Drop like we used to do it instead of doing it live. We are in the Puck Sports Studios built by Limback Lumber Contractors. They offer free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects, largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give Limback Lumber a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Well, part 3. I don't know if this was part 3 of the show or part 4, but welcome in. How are you? Thank you so much for being patient.
No, Puck, it's no problem on my end. I just feel bad for you when you have technical difficulties. It sounds like it's something that's out of your control. So, hopefully Riverside can help you with that and solve things so you won't have to go through this tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, that's always fun. Yeah, when you're double dipping, right? You're not only host, you're engineer, producer, and you can't figure out why. I don't know why it's not working, but it's happened here in the last few days, and so we will try to figure it out as best we can. Now we have a limited amount of time with you because you got off and running. You got to go find yourself a brand new house. Have we settled in on a house yet?
No, we have not. As I mentioned in the first 3 takes or 4.
Yeah, I think this is the 4th take.
I'm just giving you shit because I honestly, truly do feel bad for you right now. No, we don't have a house to go to. We might be officially homeless as of tomorrow at midnight because we got an email from the rental guy saying, leave the keys, leave the remote control, leave all this stuff on the kitchen counter. And no, we don't have a place yet to move into, Puck.
Yeah.
Which is, it should be stressful for us, but we're kind of winging it. And we're kind of like, okay, well, we'll figure something out. And hopefully we'll find something today. And because I got the U-Haul at noon today, I'm going to be bringing that down the driveway and loading that sucker up. And we'll see how things work out. But we're retired and we're just kind of laughing our way through it. We might not be laughing later. We might be, stressing out and getting upset with each other. But so far, so good. It'll work out.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, but wait a minute. Okay. Maybe I lost it a little bit in there. Where are you going though? Where are you living in a hotel? Is that what you said?
Somewhere else in Bend where the neighbors are friendlier toward our dogs. Hopefully.
No, in the meantime, before finding a place, like before you find a place. Did you say that?
Like where are we going to stay if we don't find a place today?
No. Yeah. Where? Yeah. What if you don't find a place today? Where are you staying?
Well, we have a niece where we could maybe stay at her house. She has 3 little kids, though, and so that would be probably a little problematic, but I think we could probably work something out for a few days, something like that. Yeah, shacking up, 67 years old and kind of just shacking up, at somebody else's house for a while. Okay. Having a sleepover at my age, a little different, but okay. Yeah, I know. It's a mess. I mean, the garage is just, it's filled with stuff, and but we'll work it out.
Okay, you're going to work it out. You're looking in Redmond. Is that where you're looking?
Well, we were, but then now we're kind of focused more on Bend. But hopefully the east side of Bend because it's a little more affordable over there than where we are right now.
Okay. Well, how was your weekend? I mean, no Seahawks game to react to, but plenty of college football. And you'll appreciate this. I got into first of all, congratulations on your win, you son of a bitch. I sent you your money. And I gave it a few days. I gave it a day just so I didn't want you to get it right away. I saw your smart ass on Twitter. You got to just rub it in, don't you?
Well, yeah, and I felt like I had no class doing that, but no one has ever accused me of having class, so, why not? I mean, you were cool about the Seahawks bet that I lost. You didn't rub that one in.
But you came right at me right away.
Well, for good reason, don't you think?
Why? I don't know why.
Because you can't be a Coug. You did graduate from Washington State, right?
Okay, I have the perfect
Murrow
comeback.
School of Communication.
I sure did, but I have the perfect comeback for this it's going to make you look like a
crimson.
fool. It will make you look like a fool.
You have season tickets.
Yeah, Go
on. Why don't you tell Dickert about that when you have him on Cougs Corner this week?
That I bet on the Huskies?
Yeah, why don't you tell him that? Sure. See how that goes.
Next time I tell Dickert, I'm going to say the guy I do the show with who claims to be a better fan than me knows the UW fight song and sings it a lot.
I do know
So,
the UW fight song.
so
I
I
grew up a
mean,
Husky fan. I grew
yeah.
up a
So,
Husky fan.
Well, so I didn't. So then, who's the better fan?
But after I went to Washington State, I no longer was a Husky fan,
Okay,
and now
but
I want them to lose every single time they play.
but I don't know the fight song. I don't.
Well, you
I
didn't grow
nor
up being a
nor
Husky. Were you a Husky
nor
fan growing up?
nor hold on, but nor do I want to take the time out to learn the fight song.
They have a hell of a fight song.
Okay,
I'm
all
going to
right.
give them that.
Hey, I
Don't
thought
they?
it was a good bet, and early on it looked like a good bet, but then they fell apart. I don't know.
But was I wrong about what I said on Twitter that a true
Uh,
Coug would not bet on the Huskies?
I don't agree with that, but if you want to die on that hill, go ahead. I think
Yeah.
a true Coug wouldn't go around singing the fight song, so that's just me.
I don't. What, the Husky fight song?
Yeah, I don't think a true Coug would know the fight song, B, sing it a lot, and then brag that you know the fight
Sing
song.
it a lot. What do you mean
Yeah.
I'm singing it a lot?
You sing it a lot. You've sung it a lot.
No, I have
You've done
sung
a
it
lot,
when I've
right?
lost bets. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I sing it, you know why I sing it?
Why?
Because I know the word as a Coug, I know the words to the Husky fight song, and I contend that most Huskies do not know the words to their own
I
fight
don't
song.
know. Maybe they don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good bet. I thought it was a great bet, and then it just fell apart.
Well, at halftime, I thought the Huskies were going to come back in the second half because it seemed like I was listening to the game the first half, and it seemed like they were moving the ball at will. Am I wrong about that? They seemed like they're moving up and down the field.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought maybe they
were
had the better
first.
team.
Yeah, for the first few possessions, they were great. They looked great, and they just I don't know. I think the traveling. I think that style of play catches up to you, and it just it's all of a sudden you find yourself down by a gazillion points. It's unbelievable.
Don't you kind of find it comical though? I mean, I know you lost $100 to me, but even in spite of that, don't you find it comical that they're getting a half share in the Big Ten and they're getting it handed to them by Rutgers and Iowa? I mean, come on, that's
Yeah.
comical, isn't it? Aren't
Yeah,
you
I mean
laughing?
that's why. See, I win both ways on Saturday. If they lose, which they did, I win. And if they win,
When did you
I
quit
win.
rooting for them to come back? And
I
and
never
hoping
was
Iowa
rooting
would just-
for them. I never was rooting for them. Not 1 second did I go, come on,
for $100.
No, it's $100. I don't care. It's $100.
What, you sound like $100 isn't any big deal to you.
It's
You
not.
got a fledgling podcast.
No,
Come on, $100 is a lot of money.
It's a thriving podcast that may be going back to podcast platform instead of going live. I'll tell you that.
A podcast that can't even get on the damn air.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna have to start putting some of our winnings into trying to figure out why we can't do it live anymore. I don't know. No, just it never was once rooting for him, and I'm not one
Well, okay,
second.
did you reach a point in the fourth quarter where you thought, man, this is enjoyable. I'm going to sit back and put my feet on the coffee table?
By the time it got there, I was already off on my Saturday adventure, which was the worst Saturday traveling wise I can ever remember living in this town.
No, come on. You complain all the time about the traffic there.
This Saturday was the worst.
So tell me, it was like 5:20 close.
I'm going to give you all of it. Ready? This is Saturday.
Can you remind the construction people that it's not summertime anymore?
Okay, now, and I want to tell you, because I've got to go over to Bellevue. First of all, I had to go to Bellevue in the morning to drop off Mary Lou. So
what time?
We leave the house at 8:15.
See, you should be good to go at 8:15 on a Saturday.
I already knew, but see, when I made that...
You should be, though, on a Saturday.
Yeah, I know, but I already knew. When I saw the amount of traffic, and I already saw what it was like at 8:15, I'm like, when I go back later to get her, this is going to be a nightmare. So I'm just the CEO was out of town this weekend. I'm solo parenting, so I'm driving kids all around, right? So then I go back to pick her up. And I'm getting her at what time am I picking her up? I got to pick her up early. 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, right? Back over in Bellevue.
You didn't have another parent that could, ride share, bring her back?
No, we were out of options on that one. So Owen's got a football game at King's High School up in Shoreline we got to be there at 3 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to leave the house at 12:45. Okay. Oh, she's got to be picked. Excuse me. She's got to be picked up at 2, but I'm leaving the house at 12:45.
You allowed yourself an hour and 15 minutes.
An hour and 15 minutes.
That should be plenty of time.
Okay. Now, here's what I did know. I knew 520 was closed. Okay. 520 is closed. The Ballard Bridge is closed. Now, it doesn't really affect me because I don't have to go over the Ballard Bridge to get there, but I'm just telling you everything. Okay. I get on, we get on 99, and I'm going down. I usually get on 99 by 40 on 45th Street, right outside, just there, like
So
Upper
you're planning
Fremont.
on going through the tunnel and then getting off at Lumen Field and getting on the freeway there?
The way I go every day, every time through the tunnel. Well, I must have not have been paying attention. The tunnel is also closed, Jim. So let's just I want to keep track here of everything that's closed. 520, check, closed.
Both ways?
Both ways. The 90 tunnel, the viaduct tunnel, closed. Okay. So now you're on 99. You got to get off on Mercer, or you got to get all down Denny, and that's a cluster fuck anyways to get on to I-5 from there. Its own issues, and I haven't even gone that way forever, so I didn't even realize how bad it was. All right, so there's that. Then here's the kicker. Here's the one where you go the chef's kiss right when you're getting on to 90, like right past like Mount Baker and into the tunnel. There, big accident. All lanes closed.
All lanes closed eastbound?
Eastbound and westbound. All lanes closed. I-90 shut down. So you could go across the bridge, and then everybody had to get off on West Mercer, on Mercer Island.
And do what?
Well, on westbound 90, apparently there was a car chase with police. I didn't even read I haven't read the story, but I just see it on Twitter. And there was a bomb threat. Apparently the guy was saying, I have a bomb and I'm going to blow everybody up. And so they shut down all of traffic. So then you had to get off on Mercer Island. And then there was just that portion of 90 that was closed, like from that Mercer exit to like, I don't even know what it would be to, kind of when you're crossing
the Mercer Bridge.
The Mercer Bridge, like when you're kind of crossing the lake, like right before that. So not a big stretch was closed, but you had to get off on that Mercer Island exit and like weave your way around. And
then get on at East Mercer.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there's that. And then as you're doing that, you're looking back on coming back westbound, and it's completely shut down. And so I'm like at this point,
get the shoreline by 3.
And then now I'm thinking, well, I can't go that way. I can't go back to Seattle that way. I can't. 520 is closed, so the only option now is to jump on, the world's worst. What do we call it? Is it a freeway, highway, whatever 405 is? 405 is awful. So then you had to jump on 405, head north, all the way around the lake, through Kirkland, through Bothell, Juanita, all around to I-5 South, and come all the way back around.
Okay, 405 northbound usually isn't too bad.
But it was terrible because everyone was taking it at this point.
Right, yeah.
And so we get to King's High School.
Did you get there in time for Mary Lou at 2?
Oh no. Like 2:15, 2:20. 2:20.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good for everything that was going on.
And then got to King's High School at 3:45.
Okay, well, what time did you get back to pick up Owen?
Owen was with me. I made him come with me because
I
knew something was going to be bad, and there was.
Then you went straight from gymnastics to the football game.
Yeah, and had to get her, and then I dropped Owen. I dropped Owen off at the game. I'm one of the coaches, but I dropped Owen off at the game. I said, go down and warm up because they got to warm up at 3, games at 4, and then I ran her back home. Traffic, back through Shoreline, back roads, back to Ballard. Dropped her off because I'm hungry. Dropped her off at the Dick's on Holman Road. Said, all right, peace out. See you later. Dropped her off. drove back to Shoreline for the game, which I then pulled up, walked onto the field at 3:45. So 3 hours. 3 hours from the time I left Ballard to the time I walked in to coach football. 3 hours.
What was kickoff? 4:00?
4:00. The worst day of traffic ever. I mean,
Yeah.
and you live around here and it's surrounded by water. You're effed. You're just effed if you're trying to go east.
So how did you handle it at the time?
Oh, a lot of road rage, a lot of swearing. Kids were like, "You need to calm down. You're scaring us." Yeah, I was just not happy at all.
You know what? Of all the things I love about you, I mean, way up there is how much you hate the traffic in Seattle, because everyone hates the traffic, and I got to tell you,
I hate living here. I tell you, I am Adam. I hate living here. Absolutely hate living here.
Well, I feel bad saying it because it's always going to be my hometown, and Redmond is near and dear to my heart and all that stuff. But there's not much about Seattle that I miss. I'm sorry. And you're entering and you enjoy the weather too. I mean, I know it's late October almost, and it's going to be hell for 6 months now.
Yeah, hell's coming. Hell is coming, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and so I mean, that's one of the things about Bend that I enjoy. Like everybody, like the boys, were like, "Oh God, there's roundabouts everywhere." I get so sick of the roundabouts. I'm going, well, everybody keeps moving in the roundabouts. It's like,
yeah, I'll take a roundabout. Give me a Bend, roundabout, and I'm in. But I mean, I just you know why I hate it here now, and I just do, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the kids. I wouldn't be here. I'd be out. I'm not going to pull my kids like out of high school and all that. I would be out. Here's why it's too big now. We've just gotten too big.
Yeah.
It's just way too big.
The roads can't handle
the
roads can't handle the number of people here.
It's the roads, and then I can't. There's just too many people here. It's just not the same city that it once was, and it's.
Well, it's just like, as an example, where 405 meets 90 there, and then the Coal Creek exit. I mean, there's people trying to merge and people trying to get off, and 10, 15 years ago that worked fine.
Yeah.
But it's not 10 or 15 years ago anymore.
It's the same thing where like people who are from Bend or lived there, a long time are leaving because of people like you. And again, I'm just saying that's why because they don't want to live there anymore.
You're right. People that have been here 30 years hate people like me because Bend isn't what it used to be. There's 100,000 people here now. 100,000 people to Kathy and I.
Right.
It seems like a small town. And when we have to drive 20 minutes, we're going, Jesus.
My buddy,
20 minutes to get there.
One of my best friends, shout out to James Mescal. When he moved there, they moved now. They left. They were there for 25 years. I think when they first moved there, I want to say it was 35,000 people.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Californians that have moved here, and I sense that, there's some anger toward Californians. Fortunately, when I say I'm from Seattle, they kind of go, oh, okay. But no, I sympathize with you. And honestly, Puck, where you live, and I'm never one to question where anybody wants to live, but if you live in Ballard, it's tough to get to Ballard, and it's tough to get out of Ballard. Well, Ballard, when you're in Ballard, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool place to live. But if you're trying to go anywhere or get back there, good God.
I agree with you. I again, some of this is I take this upon myself because where I live, it's terrible over here. But it's just, I agree that when I get over here and I cross the bridge or whatever, this is why I don't leave. I just don't leave. I just get out. I get out, and I can't stand it.
Well, yeah, and then when it starts raining, the traffic will be even worse.
Yeah. What do you got, about 5-10 more minutes left? I can't remember what your time frame was.
We haven't covered anything.
I know we haven't covered anything.
I forget if I mentioned this on this, fourth take.
This is the fifth take.
I lost 18 bets on the NFL, and I lost 16 of them yesterday.
Oh, my God. Jesus.
How can you? The only ones I won, I took the Browns in the points against the Eagles, and I laid 6.5 with the Ravens against the Commanders.
Okay.
The rest of them, complete losses. And what capped it off was last night with Cincinnati just milking a 3-point lead, and I had the Giants getting 4.
Yeah.
And, of course, the guy busts a run up the middle, and, they go ahead by 10. Did you watch any of that game at all?
Which one?
Cincinnati, and the Giants?
No, I was watching baseball.
Okay, so they're up by 10, right? The Giants get the ball back, and you're thinking, okay, well, at least, with a backdoor touchdown here, I can still cover the 4. And they go for a field goal with a minute to go from like 48 yards, and the guy, to get within a score so they get the onside kick and maybe have time to maneuver. It was just one of those days where nothing went right. I took the Raiders against the Steelers. They got blown up. The worst bet I made, I had $40 on the Cowboys plus 3.5. That did not go well. What they lose? 47-9. So anyway, yeah, that's how my weekend went.
Okay.
The Cougs covered though.
Cougs covered, boy. That was a weird game. That so I missed the first half because of Owen's football game. So I'm kind of following it on my phone. I see the score, and it's some weird. I don't know what happened. Like the scoreboard app on ESPN wasn't working. Like it didn't show you the box score, didn't show you any of the stats. It just showed the score. That was it. Really weird. So I didn't really know what's going on in the game other than they were up 13-7. We got back in time to see the second half. So I watched the second half. And then I didn't watch the first half until the next morning. And it was one of those weird games where you hear everyone talk about a game one certain way, and then I watched the first half and I go, there was some stuff not to like, but God, if they score at the end, I'm going to sound like a Husky fan. We should be 7-0. If they score at the end of the half there, they've put up 20 points and over 200 yards on offense. And you're like, I'll take that. You're on pace for 440 points. Yeah, our guy, my guy, Mateer, does not look good. The last 3 games, he has been real bad throwing the football. He just has been. He's completing, I wrote it down, he's completing under 60%, 58% in his last 3 games, 4 picks, 6 TDs. He's got 3 games this year under 50%. God, there's Coug fans wanting him benched.
Yes, there are.
I'm
not. Well, no. I agree that it's happening, but I'm not on board with that. I'm John Mateer all the way, man. I think he's going to get it figured out. That Heisman bet we made on him was kind of stupid in hindsight.
Well, I think we can say that's over. I would just say this: I saw the other kid play. If you have issues with John Mateer throwing the ball downfield, Zevi Eckhouse can't throw the ball past 20 yards. He just can't do it. And I watched their first scrimmage. He cannot throw the ball downfield. But yeah, Mateer's just got to be better. He's got to be better in the pocket. And the thing is, and I've seen some criticism of Arbuckle, and I'm not saying Arbuckle's been perfect. I would say this though. You can complain about some of the offensive plays, but I would say also, he's just missing guys wide open. Wide open. Think about that game against Fresno. He's got 5 or 6 plays where guys are running open in the middle of the field, and he either throws it behind him, throws it into the dirt, throws it too high, or throws it to where they have to go down and get the ball. He doesn't hit him in stride. That, to me, is not an Arbuckle problem. That's a Mateer problem.
Yeah, there's that, and then teams have figured out a way to shut down his running game too, and that's his best weapon, and he just hasn't been able to get that going like he did against the Huskies and earlier in the season, Portland State, some other opponents. But
so, do you think it's
been tough to watch? Come on, we were lucky as hell to win that game. They had all the momentum, and they were driving, and it looked like they were going to get a touchdown to go ahead by 8, and then we get the pick 6. That was, and the Fresno State fans, did you see them?
They were just dejected. My God.
And we know that feeling.
His coach being real conservative, when they got the ball within the, in their own end zone and they just run. They don't even try to get a first down. That was odd. Like, what are you doing? The one thing
what'd you think when we had a 5-point lead and, like 2 or 3 minutes to go and we're down there around the 12-yard line or 15-yard line?
Too conservative.
Yeah, I thought,
too conservative. You got to go for the
win. People
on
Twitter were saying, well, God, he throws interceptions. You don't. It's almost like playing that you're, what was it, afraid to lose or afraid to, you're not really playing to win and you're hoping you're going to win.
Yeah, you got to go.
If you score there, if you actually, have run an out pattern or something, Arbuckle could have designed something where we were more creative, and you score a touchdown, you're ahead by 2 scores. So it doesn't matter what Fresno State does on their next possession. I don't even know why I'm saying that shit because it's so obvious. But yeah, but Jim, what if he threw an interception? Then you'd be questioning him for, being too creative and being too aggressive. And I'd say, yeah, you're probably right. But no,
Yeah.
I was the whole time thinking, come on, man, don't try and milk the clock here. They got 3 timeouts. Let's try and score here, and then
Right.
none of that will matter.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think they needed to be more aggressive. The one thing I was going to say about Arbuckle, which is clear to me, is Wayshawn Parker. Like, let's not. I don't want to get too much into the weeds here, like hardcore football, Hugh Millen, but the best formation for Wayshawn Parker is that pistol formation. And we all know what the pistol formation is. For anyone who's like, I don't know, it's just when he lines up directly behind Mateer and they run the ball, that's when he's the best at running it. He's a downhill runner. He when they line him up to the side of Mateer, he's not an effective runner. They can't run like the read option with him. He's not fast enough laterally. But downhill,
can we just have him out there every offensive play? I mean, Puolasi or whatever, and then I see
I'm really disappointed in him because Puolasi had a good end of the season, and I don't know what happened to him.
Can we just go with Parker? He's the most talented kid we have. I don't get that. Well, I suppose you're trying to. He's just a freshman, but God, clearly, I mean, Husky fans, understandably, getting upset because, I mean, why isn't Coleman out there more often? I don't get that. Cam Davis isn't nearly as good as Coleman, and then they bring him in there. And,
yeah.
This bullshit they're doing too with the little quarterback, whoever that is. What's his name again?
Damon Williams. I don't understand why they do it. I think it's one of the. I just think it's a silly thing, especially. And I agree. Jordan's been on him for a long time. I think Will Rogers is playing really, really well. I think he's a really good quarterback.
Yeah, if I'm Rogers, I'm going, hey man, I had to sit as a true freshman. Why? And then every time that kid comes in, don't you know that it's a running play?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he throws it occasionally, but
I know you got to go. So let me sneak in you've taken $100 off my hands again. Now, which way are you going to go this week? Hawaii is getting 19.
Well, what do you mean, which way am I going to go? I either go the Cougars' way or I don't bet the game.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking. Are you going to bet?
I probably won't bet the game. I watched a little bit of Hawaii Saturday night against Boise State.
Yeah, they
lost by 21 to them just like we did. I just don't see us being up for a game against Hawaii when we're used to this time of the year, usually playing, hey, SC's coming to town for homecoming. And instead now it's like, oh, hey, it's Hawaii. Are you going?
No. He's got a
football.
You
got another Owen game?
We got another game. We didn't think there was going to be a game this week, but they snuck one in on us. Yeah, Hawaii, I thought gave really defensively, honestly, even though he got over 200 yards, a better defensive performance against Boise than we did. I mean, they've got the number one defense in the Mountain West in almost every statistical category. They're 39th in points given up. They're 40th in college football in yards. They're 62nd against the run. That was obviously boomed by this last week. 41st in pass. I mean, it's a good Hawaii defense. So yeah, I don't think Washington State's coming in there and blowing them out. I mean, their schedule does get easier, but I was talking to some buddies yesterday. We went and played golf up at Harbor Point, and amazingly, it wasn't a mud pit, which is rare. But
kick out of you, Puck. So
it's a mud pit.
It's always the weather there, and you hate the traffic there, and yet we're talking to people who live in Seattle.
But they all agree. No,
if we all don't. There's some people that live in Seattle that love the rain, that just excited about the rain. They want the rain back.
So, do you think we all agreed that because the topic was, do you think they can run the table? And then, but we all agree that there's one more loss at least on the schedule. We just don't know where it's at.
Well, it's a tough one for Dickert because how do you motivate the kids? You're used to playing the Pac-12 schedule at this point. Here comes Hawaii for homecoming, and I guess you still hold out that carrot that, hey, you guys, if you run the table from here, you'll get consideration in the 12-team playoff because Boise State, if they keep winning, they'll be a top 10 team. So one loss to Boise State. But what worries me is like if we lose one more game, then how do you get the kids' attention after that? Hey, if you play really well, you can go to the Vegas Bowl or something.
Yeah.
But we found that the kids aren't really all that excited about bowl games like we are as people who've been watching bowl games forever. And then what are we going to have? A bunch of kids opting out of the bowl game, if it's a minor bowl game. So Dickert's got a tough job. I mean, if we keep winning against these lesser opponents, then okay, then he still get their attention, and maybe there's that thing of the college football playoff hanging there.
Right.
Although it seems, you think we'd make it if we were 11-1?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Yeah. So
I don't think they got a shot.
No, I don't either.
Okay,
Unless Boise State looks really impressive though the rest of the way, which they have so far.
Yeah, they could. All right, we'll let you go find a new house. Thank you for doing 5 takes of this today. This will be titled The Daily Puck Drop 5 Takes here on Monday, October 14th, the go-to guy. We will talk to you back on Wednesday, and maybe it's live, maybe it's not. I don't know.
Okay, here's what I'll leave you with this. Don't be so hard on yourself. Everybody understands
I like to be hard on myself.
Difficulties, and everybody loves you, man, and so we all understand. So good luck to you.
All right. Hey, good luck to you too, sir. Hey, coming up, if you're listening, coming up, we will do the Ground Puck podcast with Tim Booth and Curtis Crabtree. That will be coming up later on all the podcast platforms on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast, and of course up at pucksports.com. All right, Jim, we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Appreciate it.
Okay, Puck. Take care, man.